All right, we're on
Yay.
live. Look at us today.
All right. Somebody needs a silence.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh,
Shocker.
Stephanie, get it together.
Come on
Who's
now.
the one whose job it is to be here and on time and doing the things?
Yeah.
Can't get it together.
All your devices.
I know this is par for the course this week. It's just been, I don't know about you guys, but it's been a whirlwind.
Oh,
Yeah. All of June. I feel like there's
Yeah.
something every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to rush everything into one day or, a few days. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. We got RTB, we got Ted Murphy. I am Stephanie. Thank you so much. It is our first weekend of summer.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like the entire June, like we said, has been weddings, has been graduations, has been school is out. Good morning, Shelly. Thank you so much for joining us. Denise, thanks for watching. So I've got my good buddies in the studio, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with both of you. Ted, I got to see you this week. RTB, I got to see you this week. Both on the
Yeah.
same day, both on Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow. I know what I was doing. the
Yeah,
co-op
right?
Day.
You
What
did a
were
great job once again.
What were you guys doing?
So
We
RTB
went-
came to music video bingo.
Yeah. Love the setup.
So we'll start there. First off, I got to thank our sponsor, MBR Home Services. If you're looking for pavers, walkways, maybe your retention wall is not retaining your lawn at all anymore. However, it is that you might need to get something down, go see Bruno over at MBR Home Services. You can give them a call, 508-280-0605, online, mbrlandscaping.com. Thank you, Bruno, the king of pavers. That's what he wants to be known as. And that's what I'm going to refer to you as. Although I think the prince of pavers sounds better alliteratively.
True. But you gotta always want to be the king in the end.
That's
You know,
it.
so-
Is that how it is? All right. So, Ted, I got to see at Quahog Day. It's something that you and I have been doing for 15 years,
yeah. It's
Wow.
pretty crazy.
right?
Yeah.
When I saw the number, I was like, do we have to say that out loud?
Yeah. And then there's like Jameson.
Mhm. Little
taught-
neck.
Yeah. He started when he was, a toddler.
right.
And now he's almost as tall as, well, he's as tall as Eric Bevan.
I-
look at that. But-
Poor Eric Bevins. He's not here to defend
No,
himself.
I love you, Eric.
Oh, Greg said I'll be right over there with a White Claw. So he's
No, he can stay at home.
I know I didn't have a chance to see Greg yesterday because I got so busy with work stuffs.
And that was at Treehouse, right?
Yeah, so we were at Treehouse, which is just such a beautiful property. If you've not had a chance to go check it out, they have done the town of Sandwich a huge service. First off, their beer is delicious, but also they've done a really good job of being a good steward of that oceanfront property,
Yeah, it was so immaculate.
right?
I mean, and just the whole vibe was
Mhm.
really welcoming.
The weather could not have been nicer.
Yeah.
The photos that we got from Quahog Day this year are incredible just because of the lighting
Yeah.
and the backdrop of the ocean and like the green. And you and Mo Cheeks always do such a great
Well, I was
job.
going to say the model Mo Cheeks brings any picture, to another level.
So if you've never been, we have our own version of basically Punxsutawney Phil. His name is Doug the Quahog. You've seen him in photos throughout the Cape. And Doug predicts how many beach days of summer we're going to have, which his prognostication was 83. And Eric Fisher was there from WCVB, who I absolutely love. It is an amazing meteorologist. He does such a great job. Nice guy.
Yeah, he was great. And then he mentioned us on Channel 4 that night.
Yeah, he did.
Showed the video and everything.
Right?
So, yeah.
Ted Murphy
Sorry.
likes to I've seen you and Mo in action before Quahog Day. I think we did a wrestling something rather where Mo was a fake wrestler and you guys had your shticks. They love coming up with these wrestling storylines. Wherever they are, there's always a storyline going on that you're not privy to. You're just watching these two boobs bounce around.
You said it correctly there. And the funny part is, if you come to Quahog Day, it's all campy.
Yeah.
We're pretending we're security guards. So we go up to this woman and Mo takes a stick of butter out of like
Fake.
he had it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you have the butter for the Quahog. We know you're after the Quahog. And she's like, it's not me.
The poor thing. She had never been there. She was just there for a beer. She didn't understand what was
She took it
happening.
all serious.
She was just assaulted by these random guys dressed up like they were FBI agents.
I said, we gotta tone it down. In this climate now.
Well, I definitely did because I looked over at one point and I was like, who's never been to Quahog Day? And it was like half of
Yeah.
them. And I was like, these people don't
I
know
don't know what they're in for.
Yeah.
what weirdness is
I
why.
tried to get there, but it's so hard because I'm all the way at the tip.
Yeah. That's what she said. He said,
Hi.
P-Town over here.
Not that I'm bragging or anything, but I wanted to go to Cohog Day. I'm dying to go to Treehouse. I was trying to find over, in Provincetown some of the beer, and they don't distribute.
Right.
And it was funny. I was at Vin's Liquors, and he's like, their beer is amazing. I'm like,
It
all
is.
right. He's like, they just don't distribute. I'm like, well, all right. I'm gonna have to stop there at some point.
Oh yeah. Well, we got some to go, so I'll send you some with some samples.
Okay, great.
Well, because it was your birthday.
I know.
So it was like in between. I had so much going on, and he came to music video bingo.
Yep.
And it was kind of a big emotional day for RTB, and it's.
Yep.
I didn't want to get into it, and I'm not going to share anything because Stephanie likes to say whatever's on her mind sometimes, and sometimes it's like,
well,
why'd you say that out loud?
I'm fine sharing that.
Yeah, so share.
It's just, it's a really difficult week for me. I just usually take time off because yesterday was my birthday, but the day before is the day that Daniel passed, my husband of 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So this was 8 years, the 8 years since his passing. But one of the things that I'm really proud about, and I acknowledge it every year and just kind of type a little something about what I've done or what I remember and what's best about him was his memory. And this year we solidified the endowment in his name over at Boston University. There's Summer Theater Institute. It's called Busty. And we raised the $100,000 we needed so that it's an endowment. It lives in perpetuity. We give a scholarship every year. And his legacy on, his application to and his talent for music and theater, as well as how that coordinates in the business sense as well. There's just a lot to it. But anyway, it's great. This year was so exciting because I got to pick somebody up and I'm not paying any more out of pocket for annually for the scholarship. So yeah, it's great. So this year was quite emotional. It's a huge weight off my shoulders. But I like to do stuff, and I always do something. And Daniel always said, put people that are kind and that are good to you, and Stephanie is, and that's the reason why. It brings me joy. So that's why I went to Tom and Tio's for Video Music Bingo.
Thank you.
There you go.
I know, doing good things. And are you okay talking about BU?
Yeah, why?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I went to BC.
Fight.
No, it's funny. I talk with people and they're like, well, I went to BC, but I know the BU is really good.
Right.
No, it's great theater, great writing program.
Yeah.
Theo Epstein's father, I believe, teaches there.
Okay.
And
they have a new dean that just started a couple years ago. Who's been great and really on top of just expanding and doing a lot of work.
Look at this table of learned gentlemen I have here in front of me.
Yeah, and they do a lot with they go to New York and do a lot of different site visits, and students will go that are in the theater focus at BU when they go down to New York, and they have this whole festival that is kind of cool.
Good morning, Penta. Good morning, Bucky and Gloria. Thank you so much for joining us. Chrissy, Lenore. Oh, Lenore, good morning. Good to see you. One of your students.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Hey,
Ricky and Wendy,
hi,
Gail. Hi. Hi, Cliff. All right. Yeah. So we've got quite a crowd here all ready to see you and our new book. Look at that. Ted Murphy, I am so proud of you. This is a long time coming.
It is a long time coming, and I gotta say, I'm proud of myself. No.
Yeah, you did it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just really, more than anything, I'm proud of already. The book's barely come out.
Yeah,
and the support I've received has been tremendous.
Yeah,
and so
this is a departure from your normal stuff. So this was a risk. I mean, you're
exactly. So it took me several years on the side to write it. So people keep asking how many years. I really don't know, 10, 12.
Yeah.
It'd be like a Sunday when the Patriots weren't playing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a few pages.
Yeah.
But then I finished it, and it was, well, before I finished it, my dad was in the hospital, and that's why your story means a lot to me.
Oh, okay.
Because June 27th, we're going to have the big signing party.
We're going to have a big cry over here today.
Yeah. Right?
This has been a month.
But June 27th is the big signing party at Grumpy's.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the day of my dad's birthday. And my publisher, Mary Petit at Sea Crow Press, said, oh, we're going to launch the book on June 24th. I'm like, my dad's birthday is the 24th.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
they're wonderful over there at Sea Crow Press. They've been really supportive of you
great.
and also local artists.
Oh, and they're really, I hate to use the term killing it, but they're really killing it with the books. And what I love about Mary is she's all about finding a really good story, regardless if it's poetry or, in my case, really something dark. Because when I met Mary, she said, "Well, I read your book and or your manuscript," and she said, "Unfortunately, I can't publish it," but I couldn't put it down. And I being from Falmouth, I'm like, "Why did I drive all the way to Barnstable?"
You're like, "Oh, thanks a lot."
Yeah. And she said, I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, "Our mission statement is uplifting. Seacrow Press is uplifting books of Cape Cod and everything." And then she said, "But I have to publish this." So I said, "Okay." So then that's when she said, "What if we came up with an imprint for thrillers and, adult fiction?"
That right there says something to me, though, when a printer and Seacrow Press says, "I'm going to make an imprint for you because I liked it so much, but it doesn't gel with our current mission." And that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a local printer right there.
And I think that's what, I've been printed nationally. Mark, I think, is watching right now. We do the Totally Weird activity books.
And this is a departure from your kids persona. You had to build a whole nother separate, this is not for kids corner.
Yeah. So we do the national stuff with that.
Hi, Rocco.
But why this is special for me is I wanted something local that, my local people will get this.
Yeah.
This book is not for everyone. I told my mom, "You're never going to read this book." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, I do not want you to read this book." So you got to know what you're getting into here. This is it's like Silence of the Lambs style. But just having
so it's sexy, it's graphic, it's horror, it's all of that.
Yeah. Ton of pop culture references. If you're a Cape Cod,
love it.
You'll get it. But yeah, so that's why I was very excited to say, I said, "You know what? I do want to work with a Cape publisher."
Yeah.
Because they get this book.
Yeah.
And just her willingness, as you mentioned, to say, "You know what? We'll create an imprint for you."
Yeah.
I was like, I'm on board.
Mari said she can't wait to read it. And Alice says, "Good morning." So you've got this, and you've got your students coming out to support you. What are you wearing on your back right now? Because that is seemingly becoming quite popular.
So my normal collaborator
Yeah.
is Mark Penter, amazing illustrator, markpenter.com. Check him out. But with this, I said, you know what? I want to give a voice or a vision for an up-and-coming artist.
Yeah.
So I went to my student who now goes to school in New York City, an art school in there. And I said, "Casey, I want you to create the Angry Fisherman Pub." And she said, "Well, why? Like, what's that got to do with your book?"
Yeah.
Well, it turns out JT O'Rourke during the day works at the local newspaper.
Yeah.
And at night he works at the Angry Fisherman Pub. So I gave her the book and she read it and she came up with a sketch. And she
so
said,
cool.
And she said, "I can define it and make it." And I said, "No, I like the roughness of it."
Yeah.
So
it's an angry fisherman.
Yeah, it really is. So Casey McGowan designed the shirt. And of course we made some for, our night at Grumpy's as well. So that was a thrill for, including her.
But you were out having coffee and someone said, "Where is that? I want to go."
Yeah. I was at Coffee Obsession, which ironically
that's
Casey
one of your
works.
writing places.
Yeah. Oh, I go there all the time. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Sandy Point, Cape Cod. Where's Sandy Point, Cape Cod?" And I went, and he goes, "The Angry Fisherman." He goes, "That sounds like my kind of pub." and I go, "Well, check on the back of my shirt. It's declanrush.com.
How great is
I
that?
think they have the directions there."
That's great.
So I'm sure he was like,
well, hey, you're already promoting your book, and you know what?
There
If maybe your shirt becomes a cult following, we just never know.
You never know.
So we've got our big party that is coming up Tuesday night. It's from 5 to 7. It's at Grumpy's, and Ted will be there. You can sign your copy of the book. You've got an Irish singer singing a little dirge for your dad.
Yes. Kevin Magoo is going to sing. Well, we'll wait for that.
Yeah.
A special shout out to my dad that night. We also have a photo booth. So, come on down and party and take silly pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you've already pre-ordered the book, bring the book. I'll sign that one. and then you'll get another one, right?
Yeah, right. I'm excited for you. So that's going to
Thank
be
you.
this Tuesday. Now, Rich, you just covered the Provincetown Film Festival for us
Yes.
here at Lemonadio.
Did.
Thank you so much for being able to go to a couple of them. And I'm so disappointed. I wanted to see Billy Porter. I've met him before,
Yep.
but I
have too.
just there's something about being in a relaxed setting like the film festival because you've had an experience, and I'm
Yes.
gonna let you talk about your own experiences.
Yeah, last
before.
year. Yeah, last year was amazing because it was Dale Dickey. She was honored and received an award at the Provincetown International Film Festival last year, and it was interesting. The movie that she was that she was in, where they were promoting it, I should have pulled it up and I didn't. It was about a woman who was widowed 7 years, and I was widowed 7 years last year. So one of the things, especially with your dad and his birthday coming up in the book, it's like I call that no accident.
Macabre trophies,
you know,
Denise, just in case.
It's just like the fates are there. It's making it happen. And her and I had a really lovely conversation, very personal, and it was just something that happens. You know? So that's the one thing that I loved about it last year,
because it is intimate, and you do get
is.
that closeness with the artists.
No, absolutely, and she's wonderful. She really is.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of her work. She was in this movie. I'm trying to find it from last year.
I forget which one she was in too that they were premiering at the film festival. What about this year was different?
Well, this year, you know, the rain kind of screwed up the garden party. We had to move it to another location.
Ugh, that's one of my favorites.
It was at the boat slip. They had to have it tented. And that's where I actually ran into one of the films that was there, Billy Porter's In, with Luke Evans. I believe Felicia Rashad is in it too. Bill Oliver and Peter Nikowitz, director and writers.
Okay.
I got to meet them. And Luke Evans, this is him playing his first gay role, and he said he was searching for the longest time for the right gay role to play. And this is a quote from him. He said, "Every time I read the script, I wept." So I
wow.
I didn't get a chance to see the movie, but I can't wait to see it. The movies I didn't get to see. There was one called Will o' the Wisp that I didn't get to see either, but I did see this documentary called The Disappearance of Sherry Height. Very well known, The Height Report, HITE. It was so well done. The woman, I should take a look at it. I'm not prepared, but the woman that put that documentary together also did Crip Camp. Are you familiar with that documentary? It was on Netflix. I think it's still available on Netflix, and it was a documentary with some actual footage of a handicap camp for handicapped kids.
See that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's what spawned all the Disabilities Act happening, people that are still present and active. It's a great documentary. And this one was about Sherry Height, was pretty awesome. They had interviews with Gene Simmons. He lived in the same building that she lived in.
Really?
At one point. Yeah. And the same building like Donna Summer lived in Manhattan. It was a really interesting, but it was mainly about a study she did, and it was anonymous interviews with women about sexuality. And you know, there was this push, I think, back in the late 60s, early 70s, about how women could only, you know, reach climax or orgasm or something by just having, you know, a penis around, and that's not true. And there was a lot of people
we don't need that
were talking about
next
that kind of thing, and the people weren't. And
I'm glad I'm here as Declan Rush today.
It was exactly. It was controversial.
Sorry,
back
kids.
then, you know, and people were always trying to discount the research that she did. So that was one of the things I saw. Then I saw this documentary on Rock Hudson, which was really
you had texted me after you saw it because it was great. Good morning, Cora.
I enjoyed that. And then the final thing I saw, I love going to see the movie that John Waters picks.
Yeah,
because he picks one every year. Last year was fantastic. This year was it was a movie called Antichrist.
Okay.
And I'm not familiar with the director, the writer, but he was going through a very depressive part of his life at that point. And then he did this movie called Melancholy, which people think that was done when he was coming out of his depression. But this movie, when he was very in the heat of his depression, is really messed up.
Yeah.
It was hard. Somebody actually left the movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's how disturbing it was. And I had to stick with it. I'm like, I'm not gonna be the person that leaves.
I'm not gonna be that person.
I've got to watch the whole
Who's
thing.
that guy? Where's he going?
Oh,
true.
Sorry, Mari.
There was a lot of awkward movement. I was like, and I was moving, adjusting in my seat. At one point, there was a bit of commotion on the left side of the theater on a scene, something that happened. So I don't recommend it to anybody who has a very squeamish
Wow. Well,
constitution.
this was just a perfect tie-in to Macabre Trophies over here.
Yeah.
As people were asking what the title of the book is, that's why I faced it forward just so you could check it out. Yeah, so that was a difficult situation. John Waters is a big part of the film festival, and not a particularly friendly man, but I did get my photo with him.
Well, that's good.
It's like, can I interview you? He's like, you're gonna have to go through my people for that. And I was like, okay then.
I think Penta met him once.
Yeah.
Penta, if you're listening.
Yeah. If you're still there,
Yeah.
Penta.
Yeah, I think he got an autograph from him.
Yeah.
One time. And I think it was a good
it was a good interaction. Well, he's got a new book out, I Liar Mouth or something like that I've not had a chance.
Friendly, right?
Right.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, buddy. If you want me on the show, we'll talk. So what else was going on at the film festival, Rich? Anything like, oh, wow, super shocking, exciting, or you just...
Not really.
I know you were so busy. You had furniture delivered in the middle of it. You've got people renting.
I was supposed to be off, but I was working. I had people visiting. It was nonstop. Every time I was turning around, I was just like, all right,
I got that text message. It's like 5 p.m. on a Friday, and they deliver every single box for his patio furniture outside of people that are renting his place. And I'm like,
I left T-Dance, put it in next to my cottage so that it didn't bother.
Just a bleep show. Don't those delivery drivers know?
I know. Well, at least there was
Planet. There was Cape Cod Friday afternoon.
There was one piece that was damaged, and I finally was able yesterday to sit down and call the vendor, and they gave me a nice little discount. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah, right. I'll suck it up then. It's fine.
They're like, do you want it for replacement? I'm like, it's too difficult. I live in Provincetown. You don't know the area. I said, but it's really hard to get deliveries and to coordinate. So just give me a discount. I'll be fine.
Well, and then they shut off the ferry. Apparently the ferry from Boston
yesterday.
We're broken. Sorry. Good luck to you.
I didn't even hear that.
Right?
Yeah.
For 2 days of a weekend. Like the first weekend of summer, they're like, yeah, we're not operating.
Yeah. So you have that. And then you also have we've had really rough seas.
Yeah.
They've had to cancel some of the ferries.
Can we talk about that submarine that went down? Like would you do it? If someone said to you, here's this free trip, I probably would have done it.
I don't know.
Absolutely not.
You're both like, no.
I'm gonna pass. Hard pass on that.
You really would not have done it? You would not have taken the opportunity?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So
honestly.
A submarine, billionaires were on it.
Okay.
It's extreme tourism. $250,000 people paid to go on to this submarine. Well, the submarine got lost at sea, so they were doing the countdown to how much time that they were going to run out of air.
Yeah, which was, I thought, was
absolutely disgusting, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Turns out it got lost somewhere 900 miles off of Cape Cod. And they thought
right near the Titanic.
Yeah, right near the Titanic. That's what the extreme tourism was. They were visiting the wreckage of the Titanic, and then they went missing. So they found out that the submarine actually imploded.
Yeah.
So thankfully they found a piece of it, and honestly, I'm happier for them that that's the way it went down. Could you imagine watching the clock, waiting to run out of oxygen to die?
No.
Well, and that's the thing. When I heard about it, I was relieved for that.
I was too.
And their families, when their families find that out, they go, "Oh, okay, at least
we know."
My brother went like that, and
one of the billionaires brought his teenage son with him. It was like their Father's Day thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, kid's 19. You know that kid didn't want to be on that submarine. Yeah. That's what the reports are saying, that he didn't even want to be there. And I'm like, oh, right? Yeah. But I mean, I think I would if someone offered that to me, to like this extreme cool thing, go up to space. Okay, if it's free, I'm not spending $250,000 on it.
Well, what do I keep saying? What do I keep saying?
Is that something she needs?
Not just that, but nothing is free.
That's true. That is true.
There's an emotional cost if you're not paying out of pocket.
That's true.
But I would say this right off the bat. I said absolutely not. But
why?
Now thinking I'm one of 6 kids, and anytime we got anything free, we took it.
Right.
So I probably would have just done it.
Right. I'm like, I don't know. It's free. I got to take it.
I'm going.
That's
Where are we
still
going?
something you're working out in your brain.
Yeah.
I would say if that's something, is that something she needs while you're there just crying, like, get me out of here. Why did I do this?
I didn't want this anyway. It was just free. I don't know why I said yes. Our question of the day is, what was your first job?
Oh, wow.
What was your first job,
Okay.
Ted?
Well, everyone did the, paperboy thing.
Okay,
but
I
my
didn't.
dad called it his job because he ended up driving me around.
Right.
Then I used to bag groceries at Angelo's.
Oh, okay.
Which is now Shaw's Supermarket in Falmouth. With Mark Penta and a bunch of other people at
I
Angelo's.
love it.
But really, the job I felt like was my really first job that I was like getting paid cash.
Yeah.
Was I would clean up what is now Grumpy's the night after. And I would get
I love Grumpy's, but
Yeah.
it's not great the night before.
No. We love you, Festa Maker. Yeah. So it was called the Century Irish Pub, and I'd ride my little Ross bike there, and I'd clean up. And since this is not a family show, I'll tell you the first day.
Watch out, Mari.
I was cleaning, and my buddy goes, "Hey," no, I said to my buddy Tim, I go, I think they had a party here last night. And I'm, cleaning. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Look at that balloon." And I go to the balloon. And he goes, "That's not a balloon."
Oh no.
And it was on that day that I got the talk from my buddy Tim.
That's funny.
You didn't know.
No. My
You would
dad tried
think one
giving
of 6 children.
my dad finally tried to give me the talk, and it was like
Too late.
TV
I don't want to
show,
hear it.
I was like a junior. I'm like, "No, Dad, I know." He
You
goes,
missed that.
He goes, "Good. Socks are on tonight. You want to watch that?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So yeah, Grumpy's, which was Century Irish Pub, would
That's
be one of my
awesome.
first jobs, and here I am. I get.
That's where his book. Yep, that's it.
Your
Your wedding reception.
which maybe that's psychologically.
It made me laugh
Could be.
because Cliff just said Ted Murphy finds a way to have a party at Grumpy's pretty much every year for something.
This is true.
Wedding
True,
receptions,
true.
book releasing,
Yes.
whatever it is. We
Yes.
had a party over at Grumpy's, which is, by the way, Tuesday, if you're wondering, and you would like Ted Murphy to sign your book, Macabre Trophies. My first job was I worked at Cape Park Zoo, and I worked in the gift shop, and then I ended up working in admissions. So I got to hang out with all the docents and do cool, weird zookeeping stuff. I mean, it was actually a really cool job at 14.
I was gonna say that's pretty wild.
I felt
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
You got to be a people person, and then I got to see the animals on the side. So
I was always musically, connected because I was just about, I think I either started or was about to start high school. So I was about 13 or 14. And I was filing music.
really,
It's about this. It's almost like a 5x7.
yep,
And it's the piece that you have on your little it's like a music stand.
Yeah.
that you attach to your instrument. Some instruments are built with the little
stand
Yeah.
stick.
and that like saxophone you're playing and your music's right up there. So we had all of that, and I was filing that over one summer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was at our local high school, so it was cool.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I kind of don't call it a job, but it was my first job.
Right.
Yeah.
After that, I worked for a bank when I was 16, and I've been working ever since.
And I've been working
Gotta
with
work.
money ever since.
That's it.
I bagged groceries also
Yeah.
at Rojack's,
Okay.
which who's our golf friend there? Because she married one of the Hagopians, and that's whose family it was, Rose and Jack Hagopian. And she was the one who threw a party on your yard after a road race.
Oh, Christine.
Yes,
Christine.
she married
Yeah.
one of the Hagopians. I
That's right. Yeah.
was a
I love
bagger in his
Christine.
parents' grocery
Yeah,
store.
Yeah.
So when I saw that she married him, I'm like, hey, I know him. He was one of the kids.
That's wild. I didn't get that connection.
Right?
Okay. Very cool.
Too funny. Small world. So yeah, make sure you drop it. Yeah. See, Mari, you remember that place. Definitely an Attleboro place. My parents ended up buying their house. So I lived in the Hagopians' home
Oh my gosh.
on Butterworth Drive when I was in
Butterworth
Attleboro. Exactly. Butterworth Drive with the steepest driveway known to man. And I remember when I first got my license and I borrowed my dad's truck and I backed it up and I backed it off of the driveway. So here I am teetering off of my driveway like this with this giant hill.
Oh
My dad
God.
looks out the window, calmly just walks downstairs, picks up the ass end of the truck, puts it back on the driveway, and he's like, seriously, Stephanie?
Oh my God.
Rich, you're nice and close to the camera.
Sorry.
Everyone got
"Who's
an
that?"
extreme
Yeah,
RTB
yeah.
mustache.
There you go.
But I-
Rocco is chewing on a piece of plastic.
Oh,
I was
we can't have that.
No.
But
Ro-
I got a question for you. Back to bagging groceries.
Yep.
So last
I was
year,
a good bagger.
I was half decent, I think. But last year, a bunch of us Angelo's friends were hanging out,
Yep.
and they're like, "Remember all the money we made getting tips?" And I go, "No, but we're not supposed to accept tips." And they're like, they're like, "You didn't accept the tips?"
Shocker. Murphy's late to a party.
Yeah. Just trying to be that good, kid.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah, they did. They went into Jeremiah's. Yep. Mari's family had a restaurant in Attleboro, Jeremiah's. Rocco, you can't eat plastic. We have our studio dog, Rocco. He's really not enjoying his time here today.
But he's getting all the smells.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
he
He's
sure
the
is.
smells of my dog, who is now living basically downstairs with my daughter. Well, she has her own space. And so my daughter will get home from work and take her down into bed down here.
Okay.
And so my dog won't go to the bathroom in there. She'll come out into my studio and go to the bathroom. No animals are allowed in the studio unless it's Rocco, because Rocco behaves mostly. So what are you doing this weekend? It is supposed to rain. I've got my Sunday market, which is happening over at Knockabout. If you've got anything left in you whatsoever, I would love for you to come and bring the book and maybe sign some of them if you have anything left of you.
Yeah.
Either this market or the next market.
I'll do it the next market because
Yeah.
because
We can't have the pre-release.
yeah.
No,
So,
that's anticlimactic.
the next market, and I know you have Scott Ellis, his wife Carol.
Yep, not this week. The next market.
Oh, the next market.
The next
Okay.
market. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're away this weekend.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, you're going camping in the rain. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
We do have the midnight hours coming for their scallop pickup. So if you're local to Mashpee, Falmouth, Bourne, Sandwich, and you don't have an opportunity to get day boat scallops,
Wow.
I suggest that you go and make, all you have to do is text them what you want for pound, and they'll bring it for pickup in Mashpee.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they're out of Harwich. They don't get down this way very often. So if I can grab them once a month. I know Gopal Farms is also going to be there with some other foodstuffs that they've grown on their farm. So we've got some new additions to our Sunday market.
Looks like, Jen, you're going to be cooking for me. this
Oh,
weekend.
their scallops are so good.
yeah.
They saved me during the pandemic. My friend Caroline was like, you've got to try these scallops. She dropped them off on my porch because we were all, secluded.
Yeah,
And I did my shit show cooking, my fake cooking show with them.
That was a
That
riot.
day we ate.
Yeah.
I didn't mess up those scallops. I'll tell you that right there. Poor Rocco's
I
like, are we
know.
done, Dad? Dad, are we done? So what did you do for your birthday?
So I'm trying to remember the morning.
It was so
Uh,
good he
I
forgot.
tried to sleep in, but of course, as you can hear, I get that in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to be fed. He wants to be walked. So I did that, and then I kind of just enjoyed having a cigar on the patio. I was just kind of in a funk, and I was
Yeah.
like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I actually forced myself to go to the Red Inn for happy hour
Love the Red
at 2
Inn.
o'clock. And
It is a Provincetown gem.
Yep. Bob Carey was not working, kind of sort of working, but he wasn't behind the bar. So he actually sat next to me and we had a couple drinks.
Oh,
And then before you know it, PFK, my pretty friend Karen,
so fun.
showed up out of the blue. And I was like, oh my God, what are you
This is
doing
my friend
here?
with the acronyms. He gives everything an acronym.
Well, that's a classic. PFK.
I love it.
Because we had a friend said, yeah, what about your pretty friend Karen? And we're like, all right, she's PFK.
She's
from now on."
PFK.
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah, so her boyfriend was there, and Jackie showed up, so I got to say hi to them. And then before I knew it, Tom, the bartender who I'm friends with as well, Tom and Paul were working, and then all of a sudden there was a dessert that just popped up with a candle, and they all said
Aw.
happy birthday to me. It was really cute.
That's cool.
Yeah, if one thing you need to know about RTB is you're not going to go anywhere without being noticed. I don't know whether it's the handlebar mustache. I don't know if it's the outfits. Him and I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony together, and people were stopping, taking photos of him because they thought he was a star. He was dressed up like to the nines, shiny and jacket, shiny shoes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
love
asked me.
the
They
handle
were
though.
asking me if I was in the industry. I'm like, no. They're like, well, can we have a picture with you? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Right? I'm like, okay, I'll hold his purse. Like, I'm over here. So everywhere we go, there's always some random people trying to talk to Rich, no matter what. I'm like, okay, I'll hold your veil.
Yeah.
I'll be back here.
And then later that night, Heather picked me up, and we went and had dinner over in East Ham, which was really nice.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
You've been getting to travel. I love going even one town over and
it's
seeing
hard
what they have to do.
It's so easy and convenient not to leave Provincetown, but I'm trying to make myself go out to like Wellfleet and East Ham. And check out some of the restaurants.
Well, when you're talking about Cape Cod, you always have to blow out the arm. So RTB is here. Ted Murphy is here. We're covering the Cape here.
And I got to be honest, when I started dating my wife, I was like, you're just barely beyond my 3-mile radius. But I'm going to make an exception.
He is a big townie. He totally is.
I love my town. Yeah.
It is one of those things that is such a Cape Cod thing not to go one town over to see what is. It's almost like exploring. Like you got to plan for it.
Oh, yeah.
I got to pack.
Yeah,
it's a
we
day.
Do love the towns, but we will plan, like, if we're going to Harwich, we're like, okay, well, you know, pack the cooler with all sorts of snacks.
Yeah, right.
What if we break down? You know, that type of thing.
Oh, hey, from Fenway. Robert's over at Fenway getting himself set up with a concert, I'm sure. He's got some comedy coming to the Navigator. That's within your 3-mile window, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe 3.2, but if Robert's putting it together, I might make an exception.
It's just nice to have things to do again and to be able to go out. We've got tons of comedy shows. I know another one of our friends is doing a fabulous comedy show, and Kelly is going to be taking the stage over at the Seacrest. Flapjack Comedy. Definitely go and see what they have available. And I sat there and she's like, oh, this comedian is coming. And I'm weird about female comics. And it's not a sexist thing. I feel like sometimes they get too shrill. Sometimes they get too graphic. Sometimes I'm just not in love with their material. But Kelly McFarland is very funny.
She's a really funny woman.
Very funny. Yeah. And I really enjoy her shtick.
And Andrea Simpson, who does Flapjack Comedy, she really gets the comics.
Yeah.
The real good ones.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, if you ever get an opportunity, and of course I'm going to give a shout out because my wife works at the
Absolutely.
Seacrest. So check out the Seacrest as well.
Yep.
As well as Robert's place. What?
The Navigator. He's bringing some. It's just great to have comedy in Falmouth.
Exactly.
And to not have to go so far to see Mr. Lenny Clark or whoever. He looks. Lenny, you got to slow down. I love you to pieces, but when you're calling for paramedics every other show.
Is he really?
I was like, is this a repeat?
No, it's this, right?
Yeah.
He's been on a tear of being revived.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, you almost lost me again. God.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that SNL thing where he's like, oh, don't embarrass. I just had another heart attack. I'm fine. This is Lenny right now.
God, I love Lenny Clark. He's such a loyal guy too. Everyone feels like they know Lenny Clark, don't you think?
We do know Lenny Clark. We actually know him.
But I'll say, like, I'll try to probably humble brag. I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to Lenny Clark, and my buddy's like, yeah, I just talked to him the other day.
Right?
I bumped into him.
Everybody knows Lenny.
I'm like, where is he? He's all over the place.
DJ Gons, love me some Bundy.
Well, that's an unfortunate nickname I got.
Yeah.
Because, Ted Bundy, right? So I'm glad DJ Gons mentioned that, because when I was at BC, I had to write like a 20-page paper, abnormal psychology. So I said, well, I'll find out who this Bundy guy is, because it was still pretty early.
New.
Back then.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the paper. I was like, oh, wow. That really kind of scarred me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use that someday, because I wasted my time on this serial killer. And then I got the idea of this serial killer in Cape Cod.
Look at that.
With a big twist and everything.
You never know what part of your life is going to come back to haunt you.
But the worst part of being nicknamed Bundy is I'm at Boston College. I'm like, okay, I've lost that nickname. That's a Falmouth High School nickname.
Right.
So I'm at BC, and I'm not saying I was great with the ladies. Well, in fact, I wasn't. But
It's
at
okay, Ted.
This one moment, I'm talking.
You're
to this-
married now.
Yeah,
And you got a good one.
I got a good one. I'm talking to this girl, and she's like, "Oh, you like to write, and I liked to write back then, and all this stuff." And we're having a good chat. I'm like, "Oh, this is going pretty well." And then suddenly I hear, "Hey, is that Bundy? Hey, it's
Out of
Bundy."
nowhere.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh no."
She slinks into her car, never to be
Well,
seen again.
Well, know what she did? She had a red Solo cup, and she goes, "Your first name's Ted, and that guy's calling you Bundy?" And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Yeah, see you later." And she walked away. And then my buddy Jamie Coyle,
She's a keeper.
Falmouth high school guy, "Hey, I'm up from the Cape and everything." So I ended up partying with him all night. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so there's your nickname, Bundy.
Well, you're the one who turned me on to a new to us show. I'm always struggling with what to watch. And Ted asked me, "Oh, it's Kaylee Cuoco and then Chris Messina. And it's, what's the name of it again?
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story. It just started it.
Streams on Peacock.
It's so cheesy and bad, but it's so good.
That's
And
the
it's-
best way to describe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We just got sucked in. We
Yeah.
were like laughing about the whole
And
thing.
it's about a serial
Yeah,
killer
yeah.
that they know
Yeah,
and the antics that ensue.
yeah.
So
So check that out on a rainy day. I call that like kind of like popcorn TV.
Yeah.
You can go through them real quick.
I did.
you
I
know?
had a bag of microwave popcorn and I
Yeah.
watched 2 episodes last
Yeah.
night after I came home
Yeah,
from work last night.
because sometimes you don't want to think.
Yeah.
You just.
I have a rare night off tonight, Denise, if you're wondering where I am tonight. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see the fireworks. Can we talk about the fact that
I knew that was
my
coming up. Yeah.
town has fireworks tonight, Mashpee fireworks tonight. So give your doggy Xanax or whatever it is that's going to soothe the people that have no understanding of what fire things are happening.
Is this pre-recorded for like July 4th?
No, it's today.
It's actually today.
It's actually
today.
tonight.
I saw the sign when I was
Interesting.
driving over.
And
Interesting.
all afternoon they'll be putting up signs of "Don't park here" down 151.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, I don't want to say wasting their money, but the big thing that's happening now are people are now doing drones,
Yeah.
and it's quiet, it's very nice, it's orchestrated. You can do it to music. I mean, I think that's where we should be moving towards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because not only
The
the
laser
animals,
light
but
show.
everybody else who has a lot of PTSD. I think we should move towards that.
Yes, I agree
In my
wholeheartedly.
humble opinion.
No, honestly, we need to do that. It's probably cheaper, less insurance money. Why
Sure.
the heck are we doing it today? Probably because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are always going to be pyromaniacs, though, people that want to blow stuff up. As I was cleaning my garage the other day, I found 2 giant fireworks that we don't have.
Oh wow.
And I was like, what is that? Seriously? As if we need this, we'll give it to Uncle Glenn. He can light those off in Pawtucket. I don't need this in my life.
That's
Totally.
Hi, Auntie Sheila. Thanks for checking in this morning. So it's RTB. We've got Ted Murphy. Ted Murphy's got his new book out, Macabre Trophies. RTB was covering the Provincetown Film Festival. Falmouth Film Festival is coming up. The Woods Hole one
Woods
Oh,
Hole
really?
one. Yep.
is coming up
Are
for
you
that.
going to that one?
That's usually August.
I'm gonna try and get to a couple of events.
Good,
We'll
good.
see. I'm working towards taking at least 2 weeks off in August.
That's not. You're going to be here for Carnival, though, right?
I'm going to be here for
All
Carnival.
right,
Don't
all right.
worry.
Just making sure.
RTB and I are doing a live broadcast for Carnival. We haven't pinpointed our exact location yet, to be determined, because it's going to be a good one and it's going to be a little bit controversial. So are our costumes, and I'm really excited for what we're working up.
Wow.
It's called Toys. It's well, I like the Land of Misfit Toys.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly. Well, that's. What
I
you
want to be a
think of.
dentist.
Yep.
So it's Toys
We
this
looked
year,
up the Dolly, and she has a lot of psychological problems.
right?
We didn't know this. There's all this stuff online now written about her. I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Right. Hi, Mrs. McKay.
What was the one? The guy in the box.
Jack in
Oh.
the Box.
No,
No,
not
no.
Jack in the Box.
No,
Something
one
about him
was,
was broken.
Herbie.
Herbie?
one
No,
was-
Herbie's the dentist.
No, Herbie's
He's the elf.
yeah, he's the dentist.
I'll have to look it up. Land of Misfit Toys.
Because I always
so
thought
disturbing.
he looked like that former Senator Orrin Hatch.
Orange Heads. Oh my god.
Take a look at him. I'm
He
telling you.
actually does look
Yeah.
like him, though. That's awesome.
But I think the Misfit toy may have been a little smarter.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Just joking.
Oh god. Charlie in the Box.
Yeah,
Charlie
that's
in the
right.
Box.
No one
That's his
wants a
name.
Charlie in the Box.
That's good, Ted.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I watched it for 40 years.
Yeah.
Right? We had the same one.
Yeah.
These kids today, they don't understand.
No,
We watch
these
the same
specials
thing
that
over
were
and over.
done that were done in the 70s and I don't think it's even claymation, but that or the specific type of cartoon drawings, they were definitely on something when they
Obviously.
I mean,
It was the
What was it?
70s.
Rankin and Bass, I think they were the producers.
yeah.
And yeah,
Aw.
I think they partied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
think?
mean,
Well, it's no different. You have Devo that's making some other weird offerings on
Oh,
some of
really?
on Nick at Night and Nickelodeon, some
wow.
sort of things. Devo was writing all of the music for some of that stuff. They didn't just disappear after Whip It.
oh no, they didn't.
They're making children's content. Much better.
Well, this all ties in today.
It's
isn't it?
balance,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
This is Ted's counterpart for his
Yeah,
balance. Good morning, Sue. Thank you so much. She's enjoying our show this morning. Oh, thank you, TJ Gons. It's Charlie.
Charlie in the Box.
No child wants to play with a Charlie in the Box.
This is so
Said
disturbing.
Senator Orrin Hatch.
No, that was not a toy I ever wanted. I just wanted albums, and then it became CDs just so I could read the content back when they actually made that. And
Yeah.
that was clever and fun
God.
and cool. Now,
Yeah.
not so much.
No.
Downloads don't really come with any of that story
No.
anymore. Now, do they?
Yeah, I don't remember there was a cowboy riding an ostrich.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah. And then of course
I'll be the
the
ostrich.
spotted elephant. And then I remember, of course, the choo-choo train with square wheels on the caboose.
I'm
my
kind of
God.
down with the Land of Misfit toys.
The water pistol that shoots jelly.
Oh,
RTB, I
that was
think
the
that
story.
you and I belong in that.
Yeah, totally. We'll figure something out.
Definitely.
Oh my
We have a
God.
little time
You
left.
know what? The one, the actual king with the, what was it?
Oh
Was it
yeah,
tiger with
the
wing?
lion. Yeah.
Yeah, that-
King
when I was a kid-
Moonracer.
When I was a kid, I was like, oh my gosh.
He has the wings. Yeah.
It's a little scary, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, he looked very mean. He did.
Well, and he had this voice. Like,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that is
Come
the
back,
same
yeah.
week as Falmouth Road Race, which you have to go into hibernation mode that week
yeah, I
because
live right.
Oh,
at
he
the-
lives
God.
where the
Yeah,
race
yeah.
ends. So he's sucked into
Oh.
it, whether he likes it or
Yeah.
not. He's part of
Yeah.
it.
I have to party.
You've embraced
but-
it.
But
That's it.
actually, since DJ Gons is on the show here,
That's for
No.
you, Gons.
Gons will probably be hosting the outdoor party at
Yeah,
Shipwreck.
yeah,
'cause he did
absolutely.
last year, and then he's like, "Hey, you can come up." So he's doing the DJ thing, and I got into it, and finally he had to tell me, like, he's like,
All right,
"Dude,
Murphy,
it was
get
just
lost.
yeah, it was for a song or two. You're not taking over." So he's like, "I'll play your YouTube music," and now
I love it.
You know?
Anything you guys have to impart before we leave? We got to go deal with Rocco. Rocco needs to be walked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has needs.
Oh, he's getting scratched right now. He's
There you
fine.
go.
I would just like to.
If people can't
yeah.
come to your book release party, where can they grab it?
They can get this. I got to say Amazon.com because sometimes you can't find them in your local bookstore.
Mhm.
But so local bookstores step up. You know,
We're
'cause
challenging
I
you.
will
Yes.
promote you if you have it in your store. So that's an easy way. But I know 8 Cousins will probably have them because they're always loyal to local bookstores.
Yep.
And then just check out Declan Rush. And if you're in Cape Cod and in the area, I mean, I might even come to you
Yeah.
and sign it. I will be doing your events, you know, now at
Yep. Some of the
Knockabout.
markets.
Yeah. And then the Seacrest is going to have markets. as well.
Yay. I love it.
And Clark from the Seacrest is like, you can do it. Just come on down. So that will be cool for me too.
Yeah.
Because with the tourists, they'll be taking this wherever. So
Yeah.
hopefully that will grow the name.
For sure.
But again, I want to thank the locals like you, Stephanie. You've been I just signed this for you and Cliff.
I'm so
You
excited.
guys have been there for me from like really day one of me
Yeah.
getting into this kind of business. I mean, Cliff built a website, declanrush.com for me.
Awesome.
Because he's like, do you have a web? Do you remember?
I was like, do you have a website? You're like, no, I'm going to work on that. I'm
we
like,
were
seriously?
at the conference table in Falmouth, and suddenly he's like, well, you have a website now. You'll get So he's been great.
This bears repeating also. And I challenge you out there as locals, as Cape Codders, to assist other people in the things that they have going on. Ted's an amazing, your kids' workshops for writing, Just Write It, have really sparked my daughter's interest in writing. I've seen over the last 4 years of her attending your classes what an incredible difference her grades are, her attention is, how her writing has just really vastly improved. And I give that safe space to her, but I'm always finding ways to trade with you because we've come to that point of friendship where we're like, okay, I don't have any money right now. Will you take this? And then we'll swap whatever. So of course I had to give you something back. I made my husband do it, but Cliff will build you a website. We owe you.
But it came natural too. It wasn't like, oh, now it's you to do this.
I'm still trying to get him to do a podcast for the last, I don't even know, 10 years. I'm like, Murphy, when are we doing the podcast?
Well,
it's true crime. Maybe something in here will spark this podcast I've been trying to get him to do.
True. And but being around this today with an
Rich,
accomplished person really getting me thinking, maybe I'll give it a shot. But one final thank you would be Troy Clarkson.
Yes.
He just did a story on me that's in today's Falmouth Enterprise.
Woo woo.
And he's a heck of a writer, and he really captured what I was trying to get across, that
he supports local big time.
Oh, he does, in the drop of a hat. So thank you, Troy. And thank you. This is our first time meeting, and I really enjoyed being here with you.
Absolutely.
Yep, Sue Moran.
Sue Moran.
Yeah,
my
so
girl
many
Sue.
people. She's awesome.
So you better be there Tuesday because we have the photo booth, Sue.
Yeah, and if you come on Tuesday, ask her to rap for you. She's got a rap.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I love it. So once again, local bookstores, if you're not carrying local authors, please, everyone else, if you support local bookstores, ask them why local authors are not there. And maybe we can all push together to start supporting some of our local artists, which we have a ton of town by town here on the Cape. So many talented artisans, artists, makers, crafters. I think it's so important to support everybody. Good morning, Jackie.
On that note, a friend of mine, Alex, Falmouth summer person.
Yep.
She just came out with a book called Friends with Boats, which is doing
doing incredibly well. I see it everywhere.
Hook me up, Alex. She's
from one writer to the next. Their genre is different.
Well. And that's what writers should do in general. You support your other writers because it's not a competition. Every book is different.
Absolutely.
So bring them with you.
I saw a great meme the other day that was like, people on the bottom are competing, people on the top are collaborating. And I think that that's really what we need to start doing it. Absolutely. Start doing a collaboration and get with somebody and see what you guys can do. Nothing but up here. For RTB and Ted, I'm Stephanie. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you. Go support something locally this weekend. Our charge to you. And buy Ted Murphy's book, okay?
All right.